But carbon dioxide, I'm sorry, is not a poison. It is not a deadly poison. It is not. It is a good reason for the Rothschild banks to get carbon taxes, but they're so, able to literally buy their minions, who are respected doctors and lawyers and physicians and scientists and people of the highest caliber. So you say, what are you talking about? You've got this guy working and you're telling me that vaccines are he says vaccines are safe, and you're telling me some crackpot named Andrew Wakefield, who's been discredited, he should be imprisoned, he's a nut, that vaccines that the MMR doesn't cause autism? Come on, listen, people. Wake up. Who is running the show here? They want everybody vaccinated. They go to your local Walmart or wherever you live. I mean, actually, don't go to Walmart. I take that back. Don't ever go to Walmart. Look at Walmart. Go into Walgreens or these other, actually, they're all controlled. It's crazy. But go to a drugstore and look how much they're pushing you to get these flu shots. Constantly. It is big business to them, and they say you need it. Everyone needs it. Brad Davis in Connecticut, he's a Connecticut radio host for like 50 years. He was on there, he's talking yesterday, and I tried to get through on the phone. I couldn't. I tried real hard. And he's on the phone talking to Mary, whatever his cohort in crime over there. Whatever they're good guys. They're sleeping, but they're sort of awake to a certain degree. Ben Fuchs, they understand about the importance of naturals as opposed to the pharmaceuticals. But he's talking about how he's going to get his flu shot at this at this medical seminar that they're going to that he's going to have over the weekend. This weekend, they were doing some medical seminar somewhere here in Connecticut, where to get people to come down a clinic and you get free flu shots, free this, free that. Oh God help us, free flu shots, free clinics. Watch out. Anyway, so. And then he said, last year, boy, I'm so lucky. I forgot to get a flu shot, Brad Davis said. I forgot. And, gee, and I'm just so lucky I didn't get the flu. Boy, I'm going to make sure I don't do that again. I don't want to take any chances. I walked into the store and I filmed some of this footage. It was incredible of people, how many signs were saying, get your flu shot, on the aisles. It's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of signs. I'm not even joking. Like 4 signs in every aisle. You're like, come on, give me a break. And some guy that was there, obviously a big pharma victim, he was looked like he was on some heavy pharmacations. And he was like, well, you need it. You got to have your vaccine. Well, but they've been shown to have adverse side effects, has possibly been tainted with various viruses, including the SV simian virus, which causes cancer, and other sterilants that have been put in there, and thimerosal and other mercury-based things. Well, that's the chance you got to take. It's like walking across the street. You never know. You get hit by a truck. I was just like, oh, wow, okay. I was a little blown away, actually, but trying not to get too far off point, but it all does relate. I mean, everything that I speak of, that's what's really interesting, somehow does have this ability, because it's such a spider web connected, that everything really does make a connection and sound the same. Anyhow, just in a couple minutes I'm going to play a little clip here that I have and take a little verbal break, but it's an awesome thing from Bertrand Russell and the understandings of social control, which I think will make a great little station break. And first I'll do a little identification. This is informedradio.com, and you're listening to Howard Nema with We Are Change Connecticut. Actually, We Are Change Connecticut is, of course, the organization. The show is called We Are Change with Howard Nema, and we broadcast every Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and from 3 to 5 every Saturday, Eastern Standard Time.
Howard?
Yes, sir.
You have a caller.
I have a caller. Let him call in.
Hey, Howard?
Yes, sir. Who's this?
Hey, it's Matt from We Are Change Connecticut.
Hey, how are you, Nat? What's going on? What's going on down there? Are you still down at the rally?
I actually couldn't make it out to the rally today. I was disappointed. I couldn't make it because of work. But I actually just got off the phone with Jim.
Oh,
And
excellent.
he said you were down there and everything was pretty awesome.
Yep, I got some good footage and from last night as well, and I'll be getting, once I'll catch some time, I'll definitely be getting it out on the airwaves out there real soon. But yeah, we got a lot of good stuff out there. People were hot. Let me tell you something, and I'll tell you this as an honest poll. We were out there a good couple of hours this morning, and I noticed, I would say, 3 people sort of frowned on it out of all the people that went by. Some people were, of course, not paying attention to it or didn't react to it. But we got so many honks and people waving and opening the window and saying, yeah, and 3 people out of, like, now you're talking about hundreds of cars, and only 3 people were like, like this one guy was like, because it said Obama, it had an Obama sign that said Obama, fear. An artist did a great little, made a sign, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is great, and this guy, again, I think that it's the whole thing, the racial division, Nat, it's like that, they're trying to divide us,
That is nonsense, and that's what people don't get. They think if you're against Obama that you're a racist or something, and that's not true.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure that there are people that are, there definitely are, but that's not true, and the whole thing is about us. That's great, is that, we're a nonpartisan group. We don't buy into the bipartisan politics. It's about who the honest politicians are that are actually going to put policy in place that are for we the people, and not be greedy or be basically a puppet. So, there's too many puppets and there's too much corruption, and it doesn't just happen in Washington, D.C. It happens even at the local level. But I heard that when you guys were out there, Jim got approached by a cop, and he ended up being very, very professional and not really bugging Jim too much.
Yeah, something, cops are waking up. I mentioned on the show yesterday that I had an incident over the winter where I went off the road and off the side of the road on Route 8 off of exit 39 in Thomaston. And cop came to assist me. Of course, he knew who I was because they have all the technology to know who you are, and if your insurance is paid for, and they could see your license, they just pull you right up there. So he literally came over and approached me while I was just trying to see if I can get this car going out of the ditch. And he said, "Everything okay, Howard?" And I was like, wow, pretty scary, Didn't say sir. He just called me by my name, and I was like sort of freaky. But then I was expecting maybe there'd be some issues, but I got
It's kind of scary though, because then they know who you are right away.
Exactly, but something. And again, I don't want to be this. I don't want to sound. I'm very rational about what I try to do here. Although a lot of what I talk about doesn't seem very rational, because a lot of people, obviously, it's hard to break their belief systems. But I was prepared for him to start, maybe hassling me, and I was absolutely impressed that he just asked me simply one question. "Did you have anything to drink?" And I said, "No, I'm just coming home from work. I slid off the road here. I took the turn too fast." And he waited there. He lit some flares. We shot the breeze. I was like telling, that I appreciated his helping me and all of that. And, and I just was shooting. I was just waiting to see if he'd had anything to say. And I honestly think that he was, compartmentalized. I don't think he knew really anything about what's really going on. But he actually did his job, I was impressed, because I've seen the other side of the coin, where they just assume that they have a right to look in your car, or what's that? Can I look in your car? And no. And that's what happened to Vinny. Vinny had that the other day. He got. I have the video actually. Nat, I'm gonna have the video posted up there where he's explaining the story where he was hassled by the cops because they were trying to basically get information from him that he didn't have to give them. And he stood up to them, and they didn't do anything. So you gotta.
They do back down. They
do back down when they do back down. And
if you're defensive but respectful, usually
yes,
they do back down.
Exactly, because they know that that's the sickest thing. The ones that back down. Look. Let me face it. Let's face it. If you personally ask me, any of these cops that do any of this police brutality, let's just call it that, are cowards. They probably beat their wives. They probably were
Absolutely.
beat up in school. They in a real bar fight, they wouldn't never they would get their ass kicked. They would never start one. But with the uniform and the baton and the gun, they become what they're not. Now, remember, I've studied this, and I have a lot of friends that are cop. My next door neighbors are the daughter is becoming a state trooper, and I have troopers here all the time, and they come in and go, and they're friends in the police department. And she was, like when she went to high school, she went through whatever the training they had to become a police officer at the time. So, and they're good cops. My point is that that generally speaking, what they're going for on the new recruits are people that are like, look, in Connecticut, that guy he's got the lawsuit because he got the highest mark on the test. He's like Rambo. The guy could hit the same spot 3 times. He's built like a truck, and they denied him a
Wasn't
job.
he wicked smart too?
He had a 130 IQ, so they says you can't do this job, and he's suing in New Haven court, and we'll see what happens with that. But
They don't want smart cops.
they don't want smart cops. They don't want you to be able to exactly. And you tell this to people. You say you're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist. But no, if you're too smart, they don't want you to know. That doesn't mean that the police are dumb. That's just my whole point. Is that they don't want you to have too much knowledge. They don't want you to be able to to really start questioning, your authority. They want people that pass. They fill out these tests, and they're psychological tests. Now, if you fit a certain criteria, you're put into this category. If you fit a certain criteria, you're put into that category. Like with 29 Palms with the Marines, they were asked questions, and then this is again on record. If you were asked to fire upon the American people, or if you were asked to disarm the American people, would you? Yes, no, maybe, have no opinion. Now, anyone that has no opinion, that's like they're coming right up the ladder. That's just crazy. Anyone that says yes is going up the ladder or going into to the right position, the right place. And these other guys are just, okay, now we know how to recruit our black bad guys, our black ops bad guys. Now we know who to go to that will put across our evil agenda and maybe not pay any attention to it.
Right.
It amazes me because it's so right in your face. Nat, it's right in your face.
I had a Marine. I was talking to a Marine about it probably a few months back because I worked with him, and he no longer works where I work. But I was asking him some questions because, he's in the Marines, and I have my political beliefs. And, I said, what happens when they ask you guys to basically go against the American people? And he goes, look, all over the military branches, there's a lot of young kids. They recruit these kids right out of high school, 18 years old. And he goes, every day when I was at my branch or whatever base he was at, he goes, we used to have to jog right by the brig. And he goes, you see guys breaking rocks in the brig, and nobody wants to go there. Everyone is terrified of having to end up there.
Right.
So he goes, they intimidate all the young kids, and they will just follow orders. He goes, there's a command structure. They tell them that there's a command structure, and no matter what, you have to follow what your superior officer tells you, and that's that. So they intimidate these young kids, and they bring them up in that command structure, and then when it comes down to asking them to do something, they're going to be afraid not to